Welcome to KSR Data Vision. So today we are going to see about what is a Mulesoft, what is the importance of learning Mulesoft, and is it the coding is required to learn Mulesoft? Absolutely no. Maybe very minimal. For transformation, we need to know some kind of coding which does not require any prior IT industry knowledge. So it is very easy to learn, no coding at all are drag and drop, right? So we'll see how we can convert a file as a demo. And before that, let us see like what is a MuleSoft, right? So we'll see what is a MuleSoft, what are the benefits, what is the SDLC lifecycle, right? So MuleSoft is first of all, it's a uh, lightweight Java-based enterprise bus, right? And it's an integration platform. What do you mean by ESB, Enterprise Service Bus? So this is a tool or a platform where we can use this Mule ESB to integrate with any kind of application, whether it is in-house or third-party application or whatever. Like I want to connect to a database, I can integrate. I can connect to a Salesforce, I can integrate. I can connect to Amazon, I can integrate, right? So whatever you feel, you can integrate. Doesn't matter like whether uh, the services has been written in .NET or SOAP or REST or whatever, we can integrate. It's an integration platform with drag and drop plugin, right? No coding at all. Very minimal coding just for transformation to get the output. That's it. To get the output only, we have to write small coding. Okay. Then next is SDLC, right? So first of all, we will see about the integration. What are the major integration we will do in Mule, right? In IT industry. So these are the main things in IT industry we use. First is this web services. It could be SOAP or REST API integration to get the output and then integrate to our source system and then do our business logic and then generate a file. For example, like you are working in a stock market, right? So stock market, they send out REST API for the customer information. Then what we'll do to share the file to the customer, we'll get the data and then we'll transform the data and then send it to the customer as an Excel or PDF or whatever. So for that purpose, we use web services, right? And then JMS, like for message publishing. Like for example, you are having a mobile, right? In mobile, we send out a messages, right, to bulk message or individual message, whether with acknowledgement or without acknowledgement, right? So that way we'll use JMS. So bulk message in the sense we will not look for an acknowledgement, right? If you look into your Outlook, Office Outlook and all, we'll look for acknowledgement. So that way we'll use this publisher subscriber model. And the SFTP, it's similar like in IT industry, we always connect to a folder or a share drive where we'll be waiting for a file. Once the file is received, we have to do some batch processing or something and then send it to the downstream. So similar to like for example, you take your credit card transaction or whatever, right? Every second you do a transaction, it is not going to do it. At the EOD, they will do the transaction, and then after the transaction is completed, they will send it to a particular folder or a share path, and then after that, it will the file will get fetched, and then batch processing will done, and then you will get a report, right? And then the other thing is it can connect to a database, right? Easily drag and drop, and then just configure the database with host name, port name, right? User ID, password. That's it. So we can connect to any database like MySQL, Oracle, NoSQL, whatever database it is. Okay. Then about the file, right? So the basic operations of a file or directory or the reading a file, writing a file, converting a file, whatever operation, right? That also we can do. And then we can connect to any kind of third-party application like Salesforce, SAP, Amazon, just using a connector. Okay. So these are the main integration we will be seeing it in Mule, right? So whatever you think you can connect, right? And the SDLC. So it is similar to our normal SDLC, like we'll be having the design phase, implementation phase, right? Management phase. Management in the sense how we are going to manage the metadata, how we are going to utilize the DevOps tool. So even right now, the DevOps integration is coming up in Mule, right? So how we can integrate Maven, Jenkins, and all those things, right? And then how we can troubleshoot, how we can do a testing, right? There is a separate module called MUnit for unit testing, how we can deploy it using runtime manager of Mule, and it has a separate API spec for AML, RAML, right? So how you can secure it. So all those things are there. Whatever you want to do, you can just plug and play, right? So here in this particular session, we just saw the overview of Mule, right? So first of all, look into what they call, like how does a Mule what do you call the software looks like. So this is the uh, what do you call the Mule software, right? So here it is a simple UI page, right? And nothing, it doesn't mean much thing. So we have to create new Mule project, and then it will ask for a project name, and then you are done, right? Then automatically it is going to populate all the required information. For example, you see here, this is the Mule, right? And this will be blank initially, right? So whenever you are going to do it, so then it will be a drag and drop information will be there, right? So here whatever is there, this is called a palette, right? Here is the module, whatever module you want to add, right? For example, like HTTP listener you want to add, file read and write operation, the sockets listener, the core, right? So whatever you want to do, like for example, you want to have a JMS, you can consume or whatever you want to do, right? Everything is a drag and drop. For example, you take database, like see here, like bulk update, insert, select, everything you can drag and drop. That's it, nothing else. And here the pom.xml will be there. So in that, whatever, I am not going to write any code. It depends on your drag and drop. The entire pom.xml is going to update, right? And then the library file automatically it is getting embedded, or I can configure it. And then it has a runtime server where inbuilt Anypoint Studio has it. So which will help to run this particular project. So only this is the file I am going to use it, and all these things I have not written a single line of code, drag and drop, right? So let us see an example how a conversion happens, right? I want to convert a file, right, from JSON to CSV file. So how I can do it without coding, right? So in the file write operation, right? So here we can write the file in MuleSoft using file write operation, and we'll be able to drag and drop the write operation from the Mule palette. And these are the basic parameters we have to pass it, whether the path, what is the path we have to write, right? We have to create a folder, and in that particular folder, this is the file we have to write. So that way, and what is the content, you can specify whatever content you want, whether it is comma separated file or semicolon or pipe symbol or whatever, right? You can define it. And you want to create a file or append a file or overwrite a file, that also you can define, right? So before that we talked about, like, there is no coding but there is a minimal coding, right? So for that minimal coding, what we are going to do, I have a drag and drop connectivity, everything is done, and my output is coming, but what format, right? So for that only we are going to write small coding, maybe 0.005 percentage of coding we have to write for Mule, right, to get the output. That's it. That is depends on you, like how you want to format it. And it is not a complex language, that is we call it as a data v language. Okay, so it has three parts into it. The Mule message structure has three parts. So one is about your the message. You can see here the message, Mule message. and it contains attribute and payload. Okay, so attribute, that we will do the configuration, like what is the method, the allowed method, which is get or post or options or trace or whatever, right? So HTTP methods we are going to configure or write, right? And then the host, which computer you are working on it, whether it is a local host or any kind of third party server you are going to connect, right? Not much configuration. And this is the output, that data wave language I'm talking about it, right? This is the only coding you are going to write. So it is a simple JSON structure, right? With the opening and closing braces, and then what is my key, colon, what is my value, and comma separated. That's it. This kind of coding only you are going to do, nothing else, right? So depends on the scenario, maybe this coding structure will change, whether it will be a JSON format or a Java or anything, right? So we'll get into deep dive into how we can write a payload also. So payload is nothing but we are going to get the content from the response and then display according to our requirement. It could be CSV file or whatever, right? So simple thing, whatever I am going to do here. So just we are going to see the demo of JSON to CSV file, right? So here I have dragged on top HTTP listener, right? So of that HTTP listener will look, I will show you. Okay, so here after dragging it, here is the panel, the display will be there. So this is called a canvas. So in this canvas we'll be having the message flow, global elements, configuration XML. So here it is a drag and drop utility, and after dragging here it will be by default, it will be listener name, and this is the only configuration I'm going to write, slash JSON to CSV. This is the path I'm going to invoke. Okay, so this is the only code I have written here in this particular page. Okay, where I'm going to invoke in a Postman or a web browser. And here, so this parameter is the right connector configuration, HTTP listener. So here is the pop-up. I'm going to change the port to 8082 because 81 is listening to my MySQL database. So I'm going to use 82 or anything like 83, 84, whatever it is you want to configure it, just configure it. So what is the configuration we have done? Slash JSON to CSV, the port 8082, okay, and then the data wave expression I am going to write it. So I am just connecting to the path in the listener, and then I'm going to transform the data. I will show you like what is the data I'm going to input. So maybe I'll show you. So this is the data I'm going to pass in the JSON, right? So this is the port I have configured. This is my path, right? So in that body with the JSON data, this is my input, right? First name, it's a key value pair, first name, last name, whatever you want. This is the key, this is the value I'm passing, right? Whatever data you want to pass, you are going to pass it. So that information we are going to transform it. For that only this minimal coding is required. Okay, so this is a standard format, data wave expression 2 for Mule 4. If it is 3, we will use 1.0. So this is not going to change the first line, and output it is not going to change. And what is the format I am going to write? I am going to write the application data in CSV format, application slash CSV format, and quote value will be there or not. Yes, it has to be true. And headers, whether headers are coming or not. Yes, it is true. And the separation, what is the separator or delimiter I am going to use? I am going to use pipe. And then 3 hyphen I am giving, because I'm going to convert this using this CSV file, and whatever the transformed data, just load it. This is a syntax payload, small p. Okay, payload. This is the coding we have done. That's it, nothing else. This is this is a default everywhere. Data wave version 2.0 we are going to use, and the output syntax, what kind of file format, what is our attribute, metadata we are going to use it, and 3 hyphen, and payload is our content. Okay, so is it complex coding? Nothing, right? And then I'm going to write it. So what I'm going to write? So in connector configuration file, I'm going to configure my path till output, and here the path is, this is my folder. I am going to output emp.csv file. So in the m.csv file, my payload I am going to pass it, print it. Okay, so payload with this particular format, I'm going to pass as a payload in the content and then print it. Okay, if it is there, just override it. Okay, that is what. So nothing, no coding at all, right? I'm just passing this JSON data, right? And it is getting printed here in my JSON body. And then I'm going to call this URL. Then I'm getting this particular output. That's all. I am done. So let us go into this particular, what do you call, um, the application and see like whether it works or not. Let us see, where is my, so this is my mule, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this. So here, sorry guys, I'm just, so it is running here. So here in output, I don't have any such file, right? So I'm going to call my postman to call my URL, right? So I'm going to call my postman to invoke my service, right? So I have invoked here, right, by passing my service, right? So I have invoked and I got the result set. So the result set has been created here, today's date, right? If you look into it, the file has been printed. You can use in Excel or the notepad also. Okay. So I have received my output also. So this is the way we use this Mule API. So there is no coding at all. For this particular uh, technology to learn. So it is very simple and very easy, right, to learn. So it is not very complex at all, right? Not writing any code or something for this particular technology. Okay, so but the other thing is you have to know, right, whether after learning this, whether how, I mean, is it easy to get a job? How much of coding is required? That also you have to understand, right? So does MuleSoft involve coding? I mean, no, not at all, right? Only thing is minimal for your data transformation. That also we'll see, that language is called the data wave language. Okay, so that is very simple. I have shown you like how is the payload, what kind of format, header, right? What is the version, right? And then three hyphen we are adding, and then output file, right? What is the format? So that way we can do it. Okay. So can a non-IT person learn MuleSoft? Yes, definitely you can learn. So you don't need to be an expert into Java or any kind of language, right? Anybody can learn. Only thing is we are going to plug and play with the different integration tools, right? So we saw in our earlier slide, right? You can integrate with any technology you want, right? Whether it is a web service, SOAP RS, JMS, SFTP, database, files, any kind of application, whether it is third party or anything, Salesforce or SAP or Amazon, we can integrate it. Right? If you are waiting for a 6 months project or 12 months project, we can do it within 1 or 2 months. So that is the way MuleSoft is coming up right now. So no coding, just configuration, right? So we'll be able to learn. So data wave language, it is very simple to learn, and we don't need any kind of language, Java language or any language to be a MuleSoft an expert. So it is an integration platform where we can plug and play and drag and drop, not much coding. Okay, and how is the carrier? The so software itself is free of cost, right? There is no license or anything, right? And then license is there for your IT industry that the company is going to take care. For us, it is free of cost. It's a trial version. You can download and then use it any number of time. And there are two different versions: enterprise version and community version. Community version is always free, right? And the pay structure in India is damn good, right? So you will be, as a fresher, will be able to grab a job easily without coding knowledge from 4 lakhs to 10 lakhs, also 9.7 lakhs also in IT industry. So that is the way it is coming up, because in IT industry nobody is giving you a training on MuleSoft, and nobody is there in market for this particular technology, and no coding also, right? So but demand is there. Nobody is having a knowledge about MuleSoft, right? So you can see here, like, this is our latest statistics I received it, right? So it is like, I mean, depends on different stats, right? 14 lakhs. It's an average salary in India for 3 years of experience, right? If it is 5 years in IT industry, I have seen like 35 lakhs also. That's so that the market demand is there. So you can easily grab a job in and IT industry, right? So, and then again, you just see this is the Mule palette, and this is the canvas, right? So this and all drag and drop only, right? So here this listener is coming from our HTTP, right? And then this transform message will be coming from your transform message, right? From the core part, right? And then write operation will come from your file. And then you are going to just drag and drop. That's it, nothing else. So if you see here HTTP listener, right? So we are going to configure only this 8082 port, nothing else. And you can see here global element, that and all. We are not going to write any coding or anything. XML configuration, drag and drop, whatever you do automatically, these and all getting populated. This is your pom.xml, right? This is your configuration, sorry, not pom.xml, configuration file. So whatever the code we have written, it is interpreted in this particular language in XML. I have not written anything, right? And then transform message, if you see, this is the only coding we are writing. So data wave expression by default, and then output, what is the format, and this is the code we have written, this line of code. And this is default, and this is the code payload, or what kind of attribute you want to print and all, right? And then write file. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to configure what is my path, right? And then here what I'm going to do, I'm going to give my file name and then payload. That's it. No coding at all. My job is done. If you have to write a Java file and then do a conversion of your JSON to XML, then you have to create a project and then write a Spring Boot or any application, or and then you have to think like, what is the third party library I have to integrate, maybe iText or Apache Pure or something, how I can read a cell, create a cell, how to write in a cell, right? How I have to format the header, what is the delimiter, everything I have to think. Maybe it will take one day, but here it is like, maybe you think about it, just 2 3 minutes, your job is done. So that is the way. Instead of wasting your 1 day or effort, I'm just coding it within 2 3 minutes in MuleSoft. So that is the advantage. No prior knowledge is required. So easy to learn, right? Hope this session is informative for you people to pick up a MuleSoft career, right? How we can easily learn MuleSoft, what kind of coding effort is required. Everything is configuration, right? 95% is configuration, maybe 5% at the most, like depends on the output transformation you want to do. I have to write code. Depends. If you don't want any kind of configuration, then no need, right? Maybe when you are trying to do some kind of gather output or something, this is required. Otherwise, it is not required. Thanks everyone for your time. Hope we'll see in other session to grab more information about MuleSoft. Thanks everyone for your time.